Social media isn't great. It's actually kind of broken. It's a complete mess, let's be honest. But there are people in the social media landscape that are trying to fix this mess. And Nostr has a very good chance of being the panacea that we've been looking for. Over this past week, a documentary from Max DeMarco came out explaining why Nostr is so revolutionary. I'm going to play the trailer for that video now.
Ultimately, there's one person that is in charge of what people see or don't see.
Elon Musk was the breaking point.
There's so much censorship going on.
The real solution is to let the user choose the algorithm.
There are no single deciders. There's no single point of failure.
Built by us, for us. It's the users that are building the community. It's users that are providing the feedback.
Let me introduce you to Noster,
A protocol for social media.
The documentary is called Social Media. Can we fix it? And you can see it here on YouTube. Social Media is Broken, Can We Fix It by Max DeMarco. I encourage you to watch the whole thing. It's 25 minutes if you played in 1x speed, half that if you played in 2x speed. The takeaway from the whole documentary is this. Centralized exchanges of information have a big problem. It's the centralization. As Jack Dorsey says in that trailer, if one person ultimately controls what somebody says or can't say or when they say it, then if that person is compromised, if that person isn't some sort of altruistic god, which no person on the planet is, then things are going to go wacky pretty quick. Odell of Stay Humble and Stack Sats fame has been screaming from the rooftops that blue check marks are the first step down a terrible path towards total control of what we do and can do online. And I am inclined to agree the way that I've seen Twitter going. Now, does Nostr fix all of that? Does it fix every single problem? Well, that's for you to say. But that's the important thing here. It is for you to say, not for somebody else to say. One of the most ingenious things about Nostr is that it is a protocol. How you access it might be different from how Bob accesses Nostr, and it might be entirely different from how Janet accesses Nostr. But how you access it and how you use it might look entirely different from how somebody else accesses it. Something else that is extremely important and entirely different about Nostr from other centralized platforms is that Nostr has no way of removing what you say. Once you say something on Nostr, it is there forever. And you should keep that in mind when you go on there and start saying things or sharing things, because there is no way to delete your note. Once you put it on there and it's shared by relays and it's propagated by relays, it's much like Bitcoin. It is there, immutable, for all time. So you really need to think twice about what you say, because maybe in a few years you will have different opinions and maybe you won't agree with that link that you shared. So you just need to keep that in mind. Something that you hear a lot about in the Bitcoin space is value for value. You don't really hear people talking about that in terms of Twitter. Hey, I'm making money by sharing my content on Twitter and it's totally a way to make a living and make money. Here is some proof of that. Max DeMarco shared his video online, and you can see here on Twitter he has made a total of $0. A whole $0. He hasn't gotten anything on Twitter. Not a single cent. While over on Noster, he's gotten 551 zaps. And I'm going to amend that here in a second, because that was back on July 7th. That was 6.9 million sats. But that's gone up a little since then. Right now, I'm looking at Max DeMarco's feed over on Primal. Primal is one of many ways that you can view the Nostr protocol. And we can see here the number of sats that he's been zapped. This post here got 31 sats. Down here, we've got 377. Over here, 40. This one here, 11,000. This one here, 4 million. This here, 1,600. This here, 7,000. That adds up to a fair chunk of change, to say the least. Bitcoiners like seeing value, and when we see value, we reward that value in like. We have sats to send you, and maybe for one person, that's 5 sats. Maybe for somebody else, it's 20 sats. And maybe for somebody else, it's 500,000 sats. Whatever somebody is comfortable and able to share, they do so if they want to on Nostr. That's the beauty of zapping on Nostr. is what might be a lot for one person might be a little bit for somebody else, but you can zap all the way down to fractions of a US cent. And that is not possible on Twitter. And because it's not possible, because there are so many barriers and so many ropes and so many hurdles and things to get through to do anything on Twitter, like needing a blue check mark to do or say certain things on Twitter, people are saying, you know what? Maybe that legacy system isn't the way things are supposed to work online. But if you like freedom, and if you like the idea of being able to share value for value on a place like Nostr, then I encourage you to, at the very least, check out Nostr. And the beauty of the internet is you don't have to leave the one for the other. You can still use Twitter. You can still get whatever value you find from Twitter there, and then also share on Nostr. And as time goes on, we may see Nostr become the de facto place where people are sharing their content because they know that no one person can stop them from doing that. And we might see Twitter shrivel up and be hardly used by anyone. Who knows what the future holds? But what I do know is this. If you are interested on building on Nostr, providing value for value, getting value for value, then Nostr is definitely the place to do that. Right now, you will find all sorts of like-minded individuals when it comes to Bitcoin on Nostr. They're easy to find, and you can use whatever client that you like best. I encourage you to check it out, because right now, many other Bitcoiners are doing the same.